So let's welcome him into studio. Good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So, I mean, it's a wonderful industry to be a part of, but we were busy discussing off air. It's lovely if you can stand up in front of people and convey that message.
Of course. I think as people, we also have to find what our passion is, because sometimes we want to do something that's not in our line of speciality. You know, something that looks cool on TV, it looks cool when other people do it. But we also have to have the brutal honesty to ourselves that maybe this space, as much as I enjoy it, is not directly for me, because you can stand up in front of many people and have the best content, but not be able to connect with them. Yeah. So I think for me, it's always the connection with people. That's what my life is about. It's not just about what I think I have or the knowledge that I think I have. It's about actually touching people's lives with it.
Yeah. What is your message? I mean, what do you get up and talk about?
My message is basically one of prosperity and changing your mindset, and how the belief in self and the belief in your mind actually alters everything around you. You see, people always believe that your internal mood and your life and where your life goes is determined by external factors. Am I born in a poor home? Am I born in a rich home? Am I born with a father? No father? Is my mother around? You know, or is she on drugs? She's not on drugs. Everybody dictates their life and where it goes based on external factors.
Yeah.
But quantum physics has accepted the theory of the internal emotion that you have within yourself shapes what happens around you. So what basically means is, if you have a goal and a dream that you're trying to reach, if you create the experience in your mind and your heart already of how you will feel, how you will act, how joyful you will become at the point in which you reach that certain goal, your drive for doing it almost multiplies overnight, because of the fact that you now have a conviction that is not merely mental, it's also an emotional state.
Yeah.
And we know as humans, it's just the fact that we are emotionally driven as people. You know, we try to control it as much as we can, but if we're in a bad mood, you're in a bad mood and it shows. If you're in a sad mood, you're in a sad mood and it shows. And you begin to bring that sadness around you, and it's a somber mood around you when you bring sadness. If you've ever noticed, walk into a room of people, if you're in a very, very bad mood, everyone could have been happy when you walked in. But if you're in a very, very bad mood,
you pull them down.
You pull them down. Everyone, by the time you leave, everybody's quiet. It's because the experience that we create through emotions, the space between me and you is not empty. That's one thing I've come to accept, that the space between me and you joins something. How I treat you, how I am emotionally towards you, how I invite you or discourage you to be in my space, alters how you feel about yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in myself, I walk into a room with the ambition and the hope that young people will see their own focus and see themselves as being powerful people. Because it's not good enough for us to say the pass rate is at this percent and this percent, because there's always that missing chapter of people, that missing percentage of people. What do we say about those people who don't make it to university? What do we say about the people that don't make it through matric? So I'm saying you are born with what you need to succeed. But if you find it within yourself to hone it and skill it to a point where you can make money and a living out of it, you've done well for yourself.
And go for it. You're 20 years old.
I'm 21 now.
You're 21 now.
Yeah.
I mean, guys at 50 are delivering these talks.
Yeah.
What's happened in your life that you can stand up and talk like this?
You know what? I don't even think it's what happened. I think it's by luck. It's my exposure.
Yeah.
Because I've been exposed to both parts of this world and both parts of South Africa as a whole. In that you can see the underprivileged backgrounds. I've been working in schools. I've been working in schools for the last 2 years, 3 times a week, and I've seen the privileged sides too. So you get to see the balance and change between the two people, that in actual fact, people in big homes and small homes, there's one thing that's really like mutual between them both, is that they both feel pain. It may be about different things, but the pain is the same. So then I ask myself, so then what is pain if it's not a financial thing? If it's not a comfortability thing? If it's not I don't have a car thing? What is pain?
Yeah.
Pain is the expectation you have of yourself that you have not yet reached. You see, when you're far from where you want to get, when you wake up in the morning, you're anxious. Because you know for a fact you haven't reached what you have set out for yourself. The minimum expectation of yourself has not been reached. So that's why I say, as people, even in underprivileged backgrounds, I don't even like using underprivileged because I think it undermines people. But people in common terms, underprivileged people, the main thing that brings them down is the belief in self and the belief that because I'm in this area, it's for a fact that I can't make it.
Yeah.
Because if someone in that house or in that school doesn't make it, or if this guy doesn't make it, how in the world am I going to make it?
How am I going to make it? Yeah.
And for us as people, we never realize that it's not a journey of starting at the same place. It's all about how you determine how you go about your own life and determine which road you take.
It's quite interesting that you bring up a conversation like this, and I mean, I think it's just so interesting that at this point everybody's focusing in on this Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight. The reason I bring it up is because I've been reading a little bit about the life of Floyd Mayweather.
Yes.
Now, he's a guy who was born to a drug addict mother, a father who was a desperate fighter, who put boxing gloves on his son before he was 1 year old. His father, in fact, actually held him up once when a fellow family member was holding a gun at his father's head, and he held up little Floyd Mayweather to say, I know you're not going to shoot me because I'm holding a child, and ended up shooting the father in the leg, and that, of course, lost his, his boxing career. So this is a guy who, against all of the odds, and it really is against all of the odds, has managed to get to be the highest paid sportsman in the entire world. So everything you're saying isn't an example of this.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. And if you look at all rags to riches stories, that they call them, I think it's always that. I take privilege of a man I once spoke alongside, Les Brown, a very well-known motivational speaker. I look at the fact that he was also born with no parents. He was left abandoned. He was living in a abandoned house. And now he's one of the most paid South African speakers, international speakers there is. When he came to South Africa, he was paid a couple million rand just to speak. But the thing that he always talks about in himself is how do you get from zero to hero?
Yeah.
And it's always the thing of, you got to understand that everything that you need, you were already born with. And we're not saying this in an esoteric, wishy-washy way. We're saying it in the sense that if you wake up in the morning and I come to meet you, for example, you should not be able to tell by the way that I act, the way that I treat you, the way that I speak, that I'm coming from a underprivileged background.
Yeah.
I should be able to find value within myself, so much so that even with nothing around me, even with no money in my pocket, you still treat me as a person that's successful. Because that is possible. I've seen so many people do it. One of the traits in becoming successful, people always say, is fake it till you make it. And we're not talking about faking credentials or faking who you are or whatever. It's about realizing that it's not only about when you have the money. It's not about when you are successful. You've got to treat yourself as a successful person now, because you are. The fact that you're alive, you have a dream, you have ambitions, you want to achieve something, it means you're successful. So treat yourself as so, dress as so, speak as so. And people will retaliate to you in the same manner. Because if you've realized, walk into a room wearing sweatpants, a hoodie and whatever, people feel they can speak to you, especially at my age. They feel like they can speak to you in a yo-yo way.
Yeah.
If you come in a shirt, it's always good morning, how are you? Because it's merely on appearance. How people see you is how they think you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
So if they think that you don't care about yourself based on the way that you appear, they're going to speak to you in the same way.
Amazing. You see, this is awesome. I'm learning things from you at 21 years old. I've got, and it's wonderful to see. We're always talking about the youth, and we're talking about the struggles that the youth are going through, not finding jobs, being lazy, not putting the effort into their lives. You are a part of the youth. I mean, yes, the older portion of the youth, but you're with the youth. Do you agree with these sentiments about the youth of South Africa, that it's a lazy generation?
I think it's a complicated one for many reasons. I think South Africans right now have the lazy thing in their head, in that things must come quickly and entrepreneurship is easy, and other people have this. I've seen someone do this from tenders. I've seen someone do this from being a gangster and whatever. So there is that nature. But I think there's another thing that's even more pressing than that. Is it becomes a painful thing for a young person to grow up around other fellow people who are in completely different environments. They don't see it fair that one person can wake up and get a car, live in a private school, go into a private school, live in a good house, live in a big house, have everything catered for you, and they have to grow up in a place where they have nothing. They always see that gap as being like it's an unfair thing, because they feel like, why shouldn't I have all those things?
Yeah.
But I think one thing that people are missing is that it's all about an education thing. And I don't speak not even from a general formal education thing, but a home education thing. You have to look at it from that perspective, in that one person, what you think about yourself, your expectations of self, what you form about who you are is based on the environment that you grew up in.
Yeah.
And as I go to these schools twice, 3 times a week, you always see that the people who are there, the people they're surrounded by, as much as you want to be a good person, when you're surrounded by people who are believing in crime, people that believe in drugs, people that live alcohol day in, day out, that's what they live by, it's very difficult for you to be spotted as being a good individual. They are the few gems in all our youth that are pushing people. They are groundbreakers. I have a couple of people that I work with that are groundbreakers. I just think it's very unfortunate that South Africa is at a point in time where we're growing into a new chapter whereby, as much as we have our freedom, it is now all the time for us to exercise our economic freedom and our brain freedom and the thing of education, being able to learn what we want to learn, being able to express ourselves in all kind of ways.
Yeah,
if we get that for our young people, I think then the chains will be unleashed on them, because now they're all trying to follow everything else. You don't have to be an accountant to be successful.
Indeed.
You don't have to be a doctor to be successful. You can focus on your arts and your passion, and they have a lot of that. It's just the lack of belief and education.
Well, that's it. Let's leave it on that note. Thanks for inspiring us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Phakamile Mzimela is a motivational speaker. He's shared the stage with many people like JT Fox, David Molapa, and of course has also performed for President Jacob Zuma. So he's done well, all at the tender age of 21. Good to have you, and good luck with the future.
All
right, let's take a break. See you after this.